has taken their time, I am given the time back. Hare Krishna, extremely grateful and humbled to be here today at the Festival of Gratitude. I read a very interesting thing that said, when we speak to a boss, we feel that they are important. But when we speak to a leader, we feel that we are important. Yeah. And that is the quality of His Holiness Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj. In his association, in his company, anybody who comes around him feels important, feels valued, feels uplifted, feels encouraged, feels hopeful. Sometimes it's a dealing. He's dealing with someone who makes them feel like that. And sometimes it's just devotees sitting in a crowd and he's not saying anything to anyone personally. But how many of us agree that when we go back, we feel valued? How many of us agree that when we go back, we feel appreciated? How many of us feel when we go back that we feel hopeful? And how many of us feel that we now want to serve Srila Prabhupada and Krishna more than what we used to do before? And that is His Holiness Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj. In his company, there is no other feeling but the feeling of being valued, appreciated, and feeling important. Which is why somebody said, we may forget what is said and we may forget what is heard, but we will never forget how we felt. In a lecture, some points may be forgotten. Some things that we've heard may be forgotten. But how many of you remember the experience at Govardhan Yatra? If I ask you what point you heard, you may forget. But how you felt, we all remember. And that is the beauty of Maharaj. In his presence, we will always feel important and valued. And you know why? Because he is inspired by Krishna in the heart. If there's one card in the deck of cards that I can say represents Maharaj, that's the King of Hearts. That's the King of Hearts. Because you see, if he's not the King of Hearts, he wouldn't have these many hearts here. These many hearts sitting here at the Govardhan Eco Village today is a testimonial that from the deck of cards, he is the King of Hearts. And why is he the King of Hearts? Because he's constantly guided in his heart by the King of Braj. So when someone is guided by the King of Braj, he will definitely be the King of Hearts. And that is what we call Krishna Prerit. There are people who are Buddhi Prerit. They are inspired by their intelligence to say things. There are people who are Manasa Prerit. They are inspired by their mind to say things. There are people who are Ahankara Prerit. They are inspired by their ego to say things. And there are people who are Krishna Prerit, who are inspired by Krishna in their heart to say just the right thing, like Radheshyam Prabhu said, just the right thing at the right time in a way that everybody around there feels valued and important. There was a boy who was getting initiated and he brought his fiancée along. Fiancée was not a devotee. So he was a very emotional person. She would keep crying all the time whenever somebody would say something. And this boy got initiated and he thought, why not take her to meet Maharaj. So he took his fiancée to meet Maharaj and she started crying seeing Maharaj. Now how many of you said to someone, you look beautiful? My God, nobody said this. Wow. I hope you said that to Krishna at least. How many of you said to someone, that you're very kind? Yeah, we say those good things to others. But does anybody ever say to anyone, you cry very beautifully? This girl was crying. Maharaj looked at her and he said, you cry so beautifully. And that girl, her heart melted and started crying even further. And today this girl is chanting 16 rounds. Chanting 16 rounds. Because when you are Krishna Prerit, you know what to say. You know what the other person needs. If the other person needs to hear you cry beautifully, Krishna gives those words. If the other person needs to hear you smile beautifully, Krishna gives those words. And which is exactly why, being Krishna Prerit, Maharaj inspires so many and makes everybody feel valued, encouraged, appreciated, whether or not we are in his direct personal association or not. Even in a lecture that we hear from him, we feel valued and appreciated. Vasudeva Prabhu was telling me a story that a devotee recently lost his young son, very young, and he came here to the Govardhaniko village and he brought his picture and requested His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, Maharaj, can I put this picture at the Vaishnava Memorial? You know? And he said, can I put this picture at the Vaishnava Memorial? And this boy was not even a devotee, very young. He was the son of a devotee. And Maharaj said, definitely, you just go, I'll come there. And then Maharaj had him hold this picture of the boy and asked him to do Giriraj Parikrama right here. And after doing the Giriraj Parikrama, Maharaj took that picture, put that picture at the Vaishnava Memorial. Please remember, he's just a little boy. Maharaj offered his prostrated obeisances to this picture, chanted some mantras in the Vaishnava Pranam mantra, and said to this father, please get this Giriraj Mahaprasad and offer this prasad to the picture of this little boy. And the father felt so valued, appreciated, encouraged that he got some strength to handle the grief that he was going through. And that is exactly why I feel that when I see His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, at this festival of gratitude, there is a legacy that he is leaving for all of us and teaching all of us that we are all children of Krishna, we are all children of Srila Prabhupada, and if there's one thing that devotees need amongst each other, it is to make each other feel valued, make each other feel kind, make each other feel encouraged, make each other feel hope, and that's only possible when we make them feel important. And that is exactly why I sometimes say, Maharaj sees what we cannot see. Maharaj hears what we cannot hear. Maharaj feels what we cannot feel. Maharaj reads what we cannot read. And therefore Maharaj does what we cannot do ever in our lives. He created this Govardhaniko village because he saw something when this was a barren piece of land. When we couldn't see anything, he saw Braj. And because he saw this Braj, presence of Braj here, the Braj which he was seeing in his heart was so beautifully manifested here in the form of Govardhaniko village today. And so many thousands of devotees are here today to express our gratitude to someone who sees what we cannot see. Thank you, Maharaj, for being such a leader, such a guide, making us feel encouraged, making us feel hopeful, and guiding us through all our ups and downs. A good teacher tells, a better teacher explains, a superior teacher demonstrates, but the best teacher inspires. And therefore Maharaj is someone who doesn't just tell and explain and demonstrate, but it inspires us to take the path of Krishna consciousness seriously and serve Srila Prabhupada and our parampara with complete dedication, commitment and surrender. His Holiness Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Gopal.